The Caramel Rabbit and the Lazy Cat. Once upon a time, in an enchanted clearing surrounded by wildflowers and colorful bushes, there lived a rabbit named Caramel. With his golden fur and ever-watchful eyes, Caramel was known for exploring every corner of the forest. He had an insatiable curiosity that led him to discover wonders that few knew about. His days were filled with adventures. However, there was something that concerned him. On the other side of the clearing, under the shade of a tall, welcoming tree, lived Ronron, a gray-furred cat with sleepy eyes. Ronron spent his days lounging, showing little curiosity about the world around him. To him, the clearing was a comfortable space, and the forest was merely a distant echo. One day, Caramel decided it was time to help Ronron see the world with new eyes. He was tired of watching his friend lost in a deep sleep, surrounded by leaves and flowers, while life pulsed outside. "Come on, Ronron. There's a world of adventures waiting for you," exclaimed the rabbit, hopping with enthusiasm. But the cat simply opened one eye lazily and, with a sigh, murmured, "I see no reason, Caramel. This place is nice and comfortable." That response discouraged Caramel, but it also ignited a spark of determination within him. Caramel was convinced that curiosity and the joy of living were contagious. He looked around and saw that the forest was at its most vibrant. Flowers of all colors danced in the wind, and the bird songs created a special symphony. Inspired, Caramel decided that a change was needed. He began to plan a surprise that could pull Ronron out of his comfort zone. He envisioned a special outing that included magical spots in the forest where the beauty of nature was displayed in all its splendor. Excited about his idea, Caramel selected his favorite locations. The first destination would be the waterfall with crystal-clear waters, where sunlight created rainbows as it reflected off the scattered droplets. The second would be a field of wildflowers that, at certain times of the year, showcased a spectacle of colors, attracting butterflies and other enchanted beings. And to top it all off, a visit to the old oak tree, which, according to the legends of the forest, had the power to grant wishes. With each thought, Caramel felt the energy of adventure growing, and he could hardly wait to share this experience with Ronron. The next morning, Caramel woke up earlier than usual, his heart beating anxiously. Determined, he began to prepare every detail of the surprise. First, he picked fresh, fragrant flowers to create a colorful bouquet that would catch Ronron's attention. He thought about how the cat, even being lazy, could not resist the aroma and beauty of the flowers. With the bouquet ready, Caramel looked at the tree where Ronron slept and decided it was time to make his call. "Ronron!" shouted Caramel as he bounced excitedly toward the solemn, sleeping cat. "Wake up! I have something amazing to show you." Ronron, however, seemed reluctant. He stretched slowly, opening his eyes just a little more, but soon returned a sleepy, uninterested glance to Caramel. "Are you once again insisting on pulling me from my rest? There's nothing out there worth seeing." Caramel, however, didn't let himself be discouraged. "But, Ronron, you can't imagine what's waiting for you. There's a waterfall that sparkles like diamonds and a field full of vibrant flowers. Plus, I want to take you to the old oak tree that is said to grant wishes," he exclaimed, with contagious enthusiasm. The sparkle in the rabbit's eyes was undeniable, and for the first time, Ronron felt a slight tremor of curiosity in his heart. "A wish, you say?" Ronron replied, raising an eyebrow skeptically. "And what good would a wish do if I don't even know what I truly want?" Caramel smiled. "We need to start the adventure to discover that. Let's take a trip together. I promise it will be amazing." The cat hesitated, battling his instinct to remain in his comfort zone. But Caramel's words began to challenge him. In a moment of bravery, he stood up and looked directly at the rabbit. "Okay, Caramel, I will go with you, but only if you promise this adventure won't be tiring." The rabbit jumped for joy. "I promise you'll never have to exert yourself too much. We'll be like the breezes in spring, light and fun." So, both began to prepare. Caramel was full of energy, while Ronron, a bit reluctant, finally decided to try the journey that would change their lives. The two friends set off, and soon the forest was filled with laughter and new songs. Caramel led the way, with Ronron following cautiously, admiring the transformation of his familiar surroundings. With each step they took, Ronron felt closer to the beating heart of that magical forest. As soon as they arrived at the first stop, the waterfall, Caramel paused and turned to the cat. "Look, Ronron, do you see? The water sparkles like stars." The cat looked at the waterfall and, for the first time, noticed its splendor. The droplets of water, as they fell, reflected a rainbow of colors dancing in the sunlight. Ronron's eyes widened in awe, and his heart began to beat faster. He took a step forward, and the refreshing sensation of the water and the soothing sound of the droplets began to melt away his indifference. "Wow!" he murmured softly. "This is really beautiful." Caramel, feeling victorious, exclaimed, "And this is just the beginning. Let's go to the flower field now." They hurried there, and as soon as they arrived, Ronron was stunned by the sight. The field was filled with flowers in an almost surreal variety of colors and shapes, and as butterflies danced among them, the cat felt like a protagonist in a dreamlike story. "Caramel," he said slowly, "how do you always find this enchantment outside your homes?" The rabbit smiled, sharing with Ronron the joy of discovery and how each step outside his comfort zone could be rewarding. The freedom that nature offered and the beauty that surrounded it were treasures worth exploring. Ronron began to blossom with each newfound realization, just as the field was blooming. Then, as they took a break, Caramel suggested they sit under the shade of a large tree that stood proudly beside the field. "This is the perfect moment for us to share our wishes," he proposed. Ronron, who had previously hesitated to express his desires, began to voice his thoughts. With a sparkle in his eyes, he revealed his wish to have adventures alongside Caramel, exploring all that the forest had to offer. Surprised by his friend's words, Caramel smiled once again. After enjoying that special moment, the two friends continued their journey toward the old oak tree, which was just a few steps away. Along the way, Caramel and Ronron talked about their perceptions and feelings, further strengthening the friendship that was blossoming between them. The cat, who had once been complacent, now found himself immersed in a whirlwind of new emotions, questioning his previous life of inactivity. Finally, when they arrived at the old oak tree, both felt the magnitude of the tree standing before them, with its wide branches and vibrant leaves. It was evident that its roots had grown over generations. "Here we are, Ronron," said Caramel, looking up in admiration. "This is the place where wishes can be made." The cat watched intently as Caramel closed his eyes and, with a firm voice, made his wish. "I wish for constant adventures and good times alongside Ronron." Hearing these words, the cat felt a wave of emotion. He realized that more than any wish, what truly mattered was the friendship and the memories they were building together. And so, with renewed determination in his heart, Ronron expressed his wish sincerely. "I wish to perceive and appreciate the magic of life every day." The old oak tree, as if listening to every word, gently swayed its leaves, as if beginning to confirm that their wishes would be granted. Suddenly, a light breeze passed through the branches, and the two friends felt a new energy in the air. It was as if the forest was celebrating the change that had occurred in the hearts of Ronron and Caramel. With a new understanding, Ronron realized that the outside world was filled with opportunities and experiences. He finally felt truly alive, embracing the idea that friendship could make him braver. Even as the day came to a close, the lessons learned and the bonds created illuminated his path. Now, Ronron's eyes sparkled not only with the discovery of the wonders of the forest, but also with the transformative power of friendship that the rabbit had always believed in. The journey was just beginning. The adventures of Caramel and Ronron in the forest showed that often we step out of our comfort zones to discover not only the world around us, but also ourselves. What began as a simple desire to explore transformed into a journey of self-discovery and strengthening of friendship. In every corner of the forest, there was a new painting of life, and each step taken by Ronron made him realize that the beauty of life lies in living it fully, side by side with friends who inspire us to be the best version of ourselves.